Hello friends, today we're going to start off with a new chapter, that is environment. What does the term environment mean? Where did this word come from? It came from a French word, that is environments. That means anything and everything that surrounds us. When we go out of our house, what do we see? We are surrounded by cars, buildings, animals, plants, everything that we can see around us, let it be animals, everything that comprises of an environment. 5th of June of every year, that is 5th June, is actually celebrated as the World Environment Day. Why do we celebrate that? The reason we celebrate that is to go ahead and create that awareness that we have to protect Mother Nature. We have to ensure that we go ahead and give a green future to our next generation. Environment can basically divide it into two. One is a natural environment and one is a human-made environment. What do you understand by natural environment? A natural environment is air that we breathe, the sunlight that we have, the wind, that is again air, the land. All these are natural environments. Let's come down to human environment, or the human-made environment, or the built-in environment. If we take up air, what would these human beings, we as human beings, what have we done? What we have done is we have actually made a windmill. We made a windmill so we can actually make the wind energy, we can procure that wind energy from it. From sun, we create solar energy, again with existing technology that we have. With water, we have the hydro power. With the sea water, that the waves, tidal energy is generated. These all are human made. If we go to our surroundings, we also see the buildings, the roads, the bridges, all these are human made environment. If we go towards the natural environment, it is actually divided into 4 parts. One of it, or the phenomena, is divided into 4 parts. It is the lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and the biosphere. But before we go ahead with this, we also need to understand the natural environment has 2 further subdivisions. That is the biotic and the abiotic. The biotic comprises of all living things, like you and me, plants, animals. These comprise of living things. Abiotic, the word itself says non-living things. Non-living things are the rocks, the pebbles, the sand, the roads. All these are non-living things because they don't breathe. If we come down to the fact of those 4 subdivisions, the lithosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. Let's come down to lithosphere. If you have to correlate, so remember L for land, that is lithosphere. Where does this word lithosphere come down from? It comes from a Greek word, lithos. It means rocky, and the sphere actually is pronounced as sphaira over there. That means a globe or a ball. That's where the word lithosphere comes from. Lithosphere is a rocky place, a rocky surface on the Earth's crust. There are various lateral blocks, there are lateral movements on the Earth's surface. That is how the rocks and the land is formed. Let's move on to atmosphere now. Remember A for air. Atmos, the word has a Greek origin. That means vapor. And again, sphaira means ball or a globe. That's where we get the word atmosphere. Now this air has 78% nitrogen content in it and just 21% of oxygen in it. And 1% of it has other gases. So that's why we understand the amount of oxygen that is available in the atmosphere is very less. So we have to ensure that we go ahead and do something to go ahead. Probably we can plant more trees so we can ensure there is more greenery because plants produce a lot of oxygen. In fact, they absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they throw out oxygen when they exhale. The next thing that we have on the list is the hydrosphere. When we go at a higher altitude or at a height, the atmosphere becomes thin. What is the benefit of the atmosphere that surrounds the Earth? It protects us from the ozone layer or the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Let's move on to the next one, that is the hydrosphere. It is again a Greek word. Hydros means water, or now spira means ball or the globe. The hydrosphere or the water is present on the Earth's surface in various forms, or on the Earth in various forms. It is present on the surface as river. It's present underground in the form of underground waters. It's present in the places like Antarctica in the form of icebergs or the glaciers. What happens with the water? It completes a water cycle, like the water from the rivers or the seas is absorbed. There are vapors that are formed because of the sun's light, or the sun's heat rather, and that goes to the clouds. It condenses and it comes back in the form of snow or rain. Then it again comes back and it completes this cycle. The next one that we're going to talk about is the biosphere. The biosphere, the term bio means life. Biosphere is actually living organisms. Living organisms consist of microbes, human beings, plants, animals. See, all the four spheres that we have or we discussed just now can all be found at the same place. What we can do is, if we take up a small piece of soil, we can find hydrosphere in the form of moisture in that soil. We can find atmosphere in the form of small air pockets. We can find biosphere in the form of microbes or insects. We can find lithosphere because that is soil, that's land. The next topic that we're going to discuss about is the ecosystem. The ecosystem talks about any living organisms that would be dependent or interdependent on the other living organisms. Like for an example, the rabbit eats grass. The rabbit is again eaten by a wolf. A wolf is again eaten by a lion. The lion dies over a period of time and then decays and goes back to the soil. When it goes back to the soil, it is eaten by the microbes. This is actually a chain. In the same manner, this is also known as a food chain. Even we human beings, we actually rely on plants and animals for our day-to-day living. The next thing that we're going to talk about is how does the human-made environment affect the natural environment? How does the human-made environment affect the natural environment? What is human-made environment? We have seen factories, right? We have seen roads, we have seen bridges. For the factories, what do we human beings do? We cut trees, right? That is what is known as deforestation. When we construct these factories, the smoke that is emitted out of these factories pollute the air. The people who actually inhale this air, they go through various breathing problems like asthma. The water is again polluted, but how? What do these factories do? These factories actually go ahead and let the waste, that is the residue, into the river that is closest. When they do that, what happens? The water gets contaminated. When the water is contaminated and the same water is the cattle drinks or the people drink, they actually go through various kind of diseases. We human beings also actually affect the land and the soil. The land and the soil, we go ahead and cut those trees, as I said earlier. When we do that, what happens? There is deforestation. The trees might be cut for various reasons, either to construct houses or to construct probably factories or roads, or probably just for the sake of probably making something that is beautiful, or probably to go ahead and make paper that we do every day, that we use every day. What happens? The deforestation takes place. Then the thing of erosion. What is erosion? When there is a wind or water, when it passes through probably a slope, or the mud particles or the stone pebbles or probably the rock particles, they flow down to a different area. Where it is supposed to be, it is not there because it is actually eroded and it is taken to a different place. Again, it affects the kind of an ecosystem that is present out there. How can we go ahead and stop that? That is what we're going to discuss in the second half or this next part. But before we move on to that particular part, I want to go ahead and give you an example of a village that is present in India, in Rajasthan. In most of the metros we face, or probably most of the states, we face the same problem, right? So what happened? There's a village called Pipalantri in Rajasthan. So what do they do to go ahead and save our environment? What they do is, generally they have a tendency, in fact every Indian person, most of them have this tendency of going ahead and killing their daughters the moment they're born, because they don't want daughters. What happens is, in this particular village, the moment a girl child is born, they celebrate it. But how do they celebrate it? They celebrate it by planting 111 fruit trees. So what are they doing? They're actually promoting girl child. At the same time, they're also promoting environment. What happens is, they're promoting the idea of eco-feminism. Let's ensure that our daughters grow. Let's ensure that our trees also grow at the same time. So the question is, how can we go ahead and save our environment?
Choose the right kindergarten, a right bag, and matching bottle to go with. The right school, the right friends. Choose the right subjects and score well. Be an expert in all. The right teacher, and make sure that they like you. Choose the right timing, the right bus, and take a cab if getting late. The right train, and don't stand near the gates. Mind the pockets. Better get into ladies' compartment. Make sure your mustache hasn't started coming. Choose the right study time and forget games. IPL, IHL, rock and metal, guitar, axe. The right group, and be a model to your brother. Seriously. Choose the right syllabus, the right test paper. Keep guessing questions for exams. Choose the right branch, the right college, the right stream. Choose the right career. Lucky to have a father's business to take care of and a father to allow that. The right counselor, the right form, and make sure the project is submitted on time. Choose the right website and rely on your friends for more information. Oblivious of the sites they have been to, there is no end to your woes. Getting better with every step you climb up the ladder. The summer vacation shorter, the bucket list bigger. The night darker, the books heavier. The only light you have is your friends ahead of you. Probably he is right. Ever thought how he got the direction? No more spending your energy and money on coaching classes. No more missing classes for rain, rally, and nonsense. Get your interest back in subjects through our creative ways of teaching. Doubts, concepts, applications, all explained through one vibrant animation. Subjects covered by multiple teachers with repeat telecasts. Special programs only for basic foundation and paper analysis. Personality development, career counseling, admissions, hobbies, all covered. A new approach to study with long-term perspective. So sit back comfortably in your homes and watch Study Spectrum TV channel.
So how does the human-made environment affect the natural environment? We are a developing country, right? So what do? We construct roads, bridges, factories, houses, all these things, right? But where do we get the land? The land that we have is limited, which doesn't have a forest, or probably it doesn't have a river flowing in. So what do? The forest area is cut off. It is cut off to go ahead and construct those factories, those houses, those roads. Now, those factories that are constructed, actually the smoke that is released from the chimney is basically polluting the air. If you inhale this kind of air, there are chances of you having breathing problems. The water that is drained out of the factory as a sewage actually contaminates the drinking water. The same water, if it is drunk or it's drank by the cattle or living beings, it so happens that they also have those disease. Then for doing all these things, we do cut those trees. Again, those cutting trees is known as deforestation. So what do? We can have many measures to go ahead and control that, but that is what we're going to talk in the next part. When there's a deforestation that happens, there is soil erosion that happens. There are chances of that particular area has a lowest rainfall. The amount of humidity actually increases. It becomes very hot. Let's move on to plants and animals. What do? There was a time when we had a lot of trees around us, and probably those trees had some medicinal qualities. Let's take a neem tree. What happened with it? When I was staying at XYZ place, I could have found like a lot of greenery around me. But when I have moved to new habitat or a new surrounding, the amount of probably those kind of trees which actually purify the air was not there. Why? Because we cut those trees to construct roads. Let's move on to animals. Everyone must have heard, save our tigers. Why did we do that? We did that for a simple fact that the number of tigers that were available or probably in India are diminishing. It's diminishing for a fact that people are hunting them. It might be used to go ahead and decorate your house or probably for some to export that so you can get good amount of money. But again, the number of tigers have decreased. How does it affect our environment when we do all these things? The major effect that we have is global warming. What does the term global warming mean? The term global warming means is the hot climate actually increases. There's a lot of humidity in the climate, in the environment. The glaciers are melting down every year. There is a rise in the humidity in the climate. If you check, there was a time few months back that we had an untimely rainfall in the winter season. Why did it happen? It just happened because of the simple fact that we did not take care of our mother nature, which is a vital part of our life. If we can take care of our family, then why not mother nature? There is an increased amount of droughts and floods around us. What happens with these droughts and floods? Either there is a barren land, people can't even have water, they can't cultivate anything, they can't eat anything, people are starving, they're dying out of hunger. But there are places where there might be a flood wherein there are lots of water that is flowing into the village and everything is washed out. This again happens because we do not strike a balance between the human-made and the natural environment, which is very important. Let me give you an example of a village in India. There is a village called Pipalantri. This village is in Rajasthan. Now what happens to this village? There was a time in India where there were people who used to kill their daughters when they were born. A girl child born in their house is something that they never used to welcome. But this is one village who celebrates the birth of a girl child. But why? And how? They think that girl child is the God's gift to them. And it is a reflection of Mother Nature in their lives. And how do they celebrate it? They celebrated by planting 111 fruit trees in their village. You must be thinking it must be a big amount to plant 111 trees. What happens? The person who has a girl child born in the house, they chip in as XYZ amount. The rest of the amount is actually chipped in by the whole village. They have a specific day when they plant these trees. If you visit that village, this village is full of life, it's full of greenery. What are they promoting out of it? They are promoting eco-feminism. They're also raising their girl child, they're also raising the environment. That is what we should look up to and try to do, which is very important. But the question is, how can we conserve our environment? Let's start off on a day-to-day basis. We can start probably when we go out to the market, we go out for shopping, we buy something and the shopkeeper actually hands us a bag that is a plastic bag. A plastic bag is basically a non-recyclable item. As plastic actually takes roughly around 100 years to go ahead and completely be destroyed. Even if you try to go ahead and burn it, there's a lot of black smoke that comes out of it. Then what we can also do is we have a lot of cars or trucks or vehicles rather who emit smoke out of their car. What we can do? We can ensure that the car is being taken care of, it is maintained properly. Then there is a CNG, that is compressed natural gas, that is also available. If you can always fit that into your car. One, it will be cost effective. Second, it will be fuel efficient. And third, and the most important, it helps us to conserve environment. One more thing that we can do is probably we can stop wastage of food. This wastage of food, you might be thinking how? We can also actually ensure that we also stop wasting water. Most of the times it so happens that we leave the tap open, or probably we have a leaking tap in our house. You might not even think of or probably you won't be even able to measure that, how many liters of water is being wasted. What happens? There are people who are hungry or probably who are thirsty and they don't even get water, the water that we're wasting today. Let's come down to food. What happens to food? We are eating something and we let it go. If you're not able to eat it, we let it go, we throw it away. What happens with that? Again, there are people who are hungry. There are people who are starving for days together. There are people who are so skinny, they don't have food. Instead of wasting that food, we can actually ensure that we just take that much which is sufficient for us. Because food takes a lot of time to grow. And there is a lot of time, there is a lot of energy that is put into place to go ahead and ensure that food is available to us. Other thing that we can also do to go ahead and conserve our environment is to pool in the vehicles. Say for example, I'm going from destination A to destination B. And it so happens that I have one of my friends who is also wanting to go at the same place, that's destination B. What happens? I'll take my own car and she'll take her own car. Instead of taking those two different cars, we are actually taking the same time. We are wasting our money. It is also a wastage of fuel. And plus, addition to that is the emission of the smoke from the car. Instead of doing that, we probably can chip in money and I can drop her out there or she can drop me there. And on the way, we both can pick up each other. If whoever car is taking their own cars. That way, we are also ensuring the amount of cars on the road is less. Now, we also have to talk about afforestation. We spoke about deforestation, that is cutting trees. What does the term afforestation mean? The term afforestation means is planting more trees on the earth's surface. Because of which, how does it benefit? It benefits us to go ahead and have a lot of the climate is pretty cool, it's greenery all around. Then, most importantly, the rainfall is proper. If you go down to Cherrapunji or Guai, what happens out there? There is a lot of greenery. If you go to Mahabaleshwar or to Lonavala, there is a lot of greenery. So the rainfall is proper. What happens when it comes down to Mumbai? What we have done is we have cut down trees to go ahead and construct the roads and the houses and the factories, because of which there are problems. What we can do is probably we can recycle the items. As I said, whenever we go out for shopping, we carry a plow, we take bags from our shopkeepers or the vendors. Rather than that, what we can do is we carry our own bags and ensure that those particular whatever things we buy, we put it in that bag. So we're putting it to use. In all these ways, we can actually ensure that we are conserving environment, we are conserving our mother nature. Why do we do that? When I was a child, I had seen trees. Say for example, I had seen trees, mango trees, tamarind trees. We used to pluck mangoes out of those trees. When I grew, I had a garden around my house that had beautiful and wonderful flowers, full of fragrance. But when I see the next generation might not even know how a mango tree looks like, or probably how does a neem tree look like. They might not even have the fun of plucking those mangoes from the tree or going ahead and smelling that rose from the garden. Why? The question is why? Why they will not have it? It is because of us. Because we did not go ahead and take that initiative to save our mother nature. What was done by our great grandfathers. That is the heritage that they left for us. And we are not doing anything to go ahead and actually keep it for our next generation. So it is a question that we have to ask ourselves if we can go ahead and leave that heritage to our next generation, to our kids, to our grandchildren. It is our duty, it is our responsibility. So go ahead and save your mother nature, save your environment if you need a fulfilling environment, a fulfilling nature. This is how we complete our chapter environment. Let's quickly go through the questions in your textbook. The first question that your textbook talks about is, what is an ecosystem? All plants, animals and human beings togetherly depend on their immediate surroundings. When they depend on their immediate surroundings, they are also interdependent on each other. Like in the case of human beings, we have meat from animals and from birds, that is the hen. So we are interdependent on each other. So the relation between the living organisms and as well as the relation between the organisms and their surroundings is known as the ecosystem. So in one line, if they ask you what is an ecosystem, it is the relationship between the living organisms, and the relationship between the organisms and the immediate surroundings is ecosystem. The next question is, what is natural environment? Land, water, air, plants, animals, all these are natural environment. The next question that we're going to discuss out of your textbook is, which are the major components of the environment? That is the people, the things, the places that surround any living organism are the major components for any environment. So the next question that your textbook has is, give 4 examples of human-made environments. Since we have already discussed in this chapter the roads, the buildings, the factories, bridges, all these are human-made environment because these are created by human beings. That is why they're called as human-made environment. The next question is, what is lithosphere? Land, water, air, plants and animals. That is what comprises of the natural environment, and that is what is known as the lithosphere. Which are the 2 major components of biotic environment? Plants and animals are the major components of biotic environment. The next question is, what is a biosphere? Biosphere means anything that is living. The plants and animal kingdom together they make the living world or the biosphere. It is basically a narrow zone of earth where land and water and air interact with each other. So that is what is biosphere. Now your question talks about some questions that for which you have to give reasons. The first one out of it is, man modifies his environment. Man uses water. There are other things done like deforestation that basically spoils the environment. Why does man do that? Man does it to go ahead and ensure that he is able to use the existing resources in the best possible way to ensure that he gets a satisfactory living or a satisfactory life. So he constructs roads so that it becomes easier for him to go ahead and go from place A to place B. He uses the land for agriculture. The deforestation that happens, he uses that land for agriculture. He might use that land to go ahead and build factories or build roads. There are numerous activities that a man does, and because of which he modifies the natural environment that is into existence. The next question and the last question in this chapter is plants and animals depend on each other. Plants provide food for animals, like the goat eats grass. The forest, they provide shelter to wildlife. You would see many animals like the lion, the deer, all these animals, they live in the forest. But this wildlife actually adds a beauty to the forest. The animal dung, like the cow dung, actually acts as a good manure for the plant growth. Then if we look at the dead animals, when they decay, it provides a very good nutrition to the soil, and which in turn is absorbed by the plants. When it is absorbed, the plants and trees grow very well. That is why it is said as plants and trees are dependent upon each other. This is how we complete our chapter, Environment.